Are you looking for pleasures of flesh? Do you want to fulfill your
deep, dark fantasies?
Then you've came to the right place. Sit back and relax on this kinky voyage with your captain. Let's start with the foreplay. So, what are we gonna do with a naughty sailor? Usually, you would cut his food and drink rations, or make him swap the deck. But that's for crimes like calling captain a wanker or something. Next level would be to tie our fellow sea dog to the mast and let him enjoy the beautiful view. Or send him out to clean the bilge water. But captain, what is bilge water, you might be asking? Well, it is essentially the seawater accumulating in the lowest part of the ship that likes to decay and mix up with sweat, piss, shit and other nasty stuff. And a guy that had to pump out this lovely milk was often called bilge rat by the rest of the crew. Now let's move on to something kinkier. The flogging. It wasn't really complicated back in those times. You would grab and tie the sailor to the mast and give him a couple of whips here and there with single-ended whip called rope's end, cause the rope was commonly used for this kind of torture. It was also named starter because it was like the initial phase. But if that was the starter, then what was the ender?
I fear no man, but that thing, it scares me.
And now, please welcome our 9-ended whip for heavy offenses like desertion or causing death of a crew member. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Carol 9 Tails, also known as Captain's Daughter. The rules were similar to light whipping, but as we know, with great power comes great responsibility. And that's where the Moses Law comes in. You see, back in the day, people were far more religious and treated faith with more respect, and that's why the Christian sailor could only receive 39 lashes, just like Jesus, and 40 lashes were a big no-no. There was also one ceremony on land when the punished one would be lashed on every ship moored in the port just to give example to other crews, and to boost morale or something. After the lashes, the sailor was given bandages, painkillers and could rest for a couple of days.
Like that's ever gonna happen. What a load.
After the lashes, the sailor was forced to clean his wounds with salty water, just so he could be inflicted with more pain. And that's where to rub salt into the wound expression derives from. So, when you will hear Drunken Sailor next time, you might get a new perspective online.
Put him in the bed with the captain's daughter.
Yeah, they don't mean to bang captain's daughter. Shocking, right? I've heard some stories about the walk of shame, where the sailor was supposed to walk through the deck and get a lash from every crew member, but I call it bullshit. And why is that? Well, apart from no information in historical records, just try to imagine the whole crew equipped with the whips. They would probably run out of ropes on the ship. I mean, what is it? A Slav birthday party? Finally, we can proceed to the ultimate pleasure you could get on a ship. So kinky that it was banned in multiple countries in 19th century and you would have to use NordVPN for it. So kinky that the poor soul would scream for death. So kinky that even the name of it could strike fear in the heart of a sailor. The keelholing. Here is how it was done. You would first strip the sailor of his clothes and tie his hands and legs to the rope connected with the mast, which was pulled by the crew. After preparations were complete, the bad boy was thrown into the water and dragged through the hole. You need to understand, however, that the hole was overgrown with sharp crustaceans that caused strong bleeding or even dismembering. In case of clean hull, the sailor was dragged from the front to the rear, with increased chance of drowning. Should he be still breathing afterwards, he would be hanged for hours as a warning to others before he was released and treated. Are you looking for a solitude and inner peace? Have you ever wanted to own an entire island just for yourself? For the price of thievery, murder, or being a shit captain, now you can. In the Mariner Premium Pack you will get an island with sand, stones, maybe even few trees if you're lucky. But that's not all. Our young and passionate crew will grace you with a bottle of rum and loaded flintlock to end your misery and be forever condemned for suicide. If you are a man of faith, however, the high tide will eventually come for you and do the job. Don't worry about being rescued by nearby ships, as their captains know exactly who you are and why they should not disturb your stay. So that's how pirates played on the sea, but what about land? You've guessed it.
First time.
Hanging. It was far more complex ceremony than you may think. So here's how it usually went in London, for example. Had to wait 10 days for his punishment. During this time he had a chance to reflect his life in the presence of priests, buy himself a pardon or help from corrupted governors, turn into a snitch by revealing information about other fellow pirates. On the final day, the prisoners were led to the shipyard while priest was chanting his preach about repenting their sins, yada yada yada. Oh, and there was a Giga Chat High Court Marshal with his big silver oar, whose presence meant only one thing: don't fuck with the Admiralty. In some cases, they would even stop in a pub for the last cold one. Executions took place early in the morning or evening, so people would not get an excuse to skip their work time. And you need to understand that the executions were something like a town fair, which gathered whole families to spend some quality fun time, until some douche decided to carry out executions within prison walls for whatever reasons. The hanging itself usually took place in the execution docks area. At the gallows, priest mumbled about how cringy it is to be a pirate. Then he would cite crimes of the convict and his sentence. Last words were given and noose was tied around neck. Pirates specifically were given shorter ropes in order not to break their neck, but let them suffer and suffocate for around 10 to 12 minutes. The body would go through convulsions and shake violently, which is why it was called Devil's Jig or Gallows Dance. The dead man was either buried face down so that his soul could not find peace, or it was put in the chains, cage or a gibbet, and hanged for a couple of days in visible places as a sign of warning. One such place was, and I shit you not, the cuckold point. And that would wrap up our list, but before you will start typing, "You forgot about walking the plane into the most popular pirate torch you think is?" No, I didn't. And it wasn't. It was first registered in 1769, which is long after the Golden Age of Piracy ended, and it was used so rarely that it is just historically irrelevant. However, it is deeply loved by Hollywood movies and adventure books, where it serves the purpose of building up the tension, just like in the Star Wars or Pirate of the Caribbean. And because of that, some people still believe that it was used back in the days. Pop culture. What can you do about it, right? And that would be all for today's episode. I hope that you enjoyed watching it as much as I did making it. If
You like what you see?
please like the video and subscribe to my channel so that I have a further motivation to provide this quality content for you guys. Also, let me know what you would like to see in next episode in the comment section below. Now, if you excuse me, I have to get ready for my gallows dance classes as I'm preparing for a local Dance Revolution tournament. Wish me luck and see you folks next time.